In this video, I'm going to be discussing the scales, harmony, note choices that are used in this latest installment on how to play like Mark Speer. I see this question online all the time. What scales does he use to sound like that? Well, it's actually not as exciting as you think. For the most part, everything he does is major and minor pentatonic and major and minor scale. That's it. It's all about his phrasing and ornamentation that makes it sound a little bit more exotic. I'm going to go into that in the next video, but for now I'm going to show you what you can do with just those scales and some of the topics I covered in my first video about rhythm and timing. He does occasionally dip into something a little bit more outside the box. Like in Maria Tambien, he gets into a bit of harmonic minor. So for the most part, it's just straightforward natural minor in B. But then in that B riff, he goes, so he includes this A sharp, which is the major 7 rather than the minor 7, and that's what turns it from natural minor into harmonic minor. So if I play natural minor, it sounds like this. And if I play harmonic minor, it sounds like this. But like I say, he really doesn't do that very much at all. He does also dip into Phrygian, which is a mode in Lady and Man, the bit that goes something like this. But generally, like I say, it's all just major and minor scale and major and minor pentatonic. To show you how you could apply these scales, I've made a Khruangbin style backing track. We're in the key of C major, and the chords for this section go C, D minor, A minor, and G. I'm going to open up with just major pentatonic, and I'm going to really limit myself as to what kind of little tricks and things I'm doing. So I'm only really going to be using the ideas from my previous video about rhythm and timing and the scale. Second time round, I'm going to bring in the full major scale. Let's hear what that sounds like. So I start off with this really simple sequence, and I'm just playing everything a little bit late and sort of dragging a little bit as discussed in the previous video. So this sequence just goes really simple rhythmically as well. And then I just go up the major pentatonic stepwise and then step down and finish on the 9 of this D minor. So it kind of, the bass is only playing a D note, so we're not really getting a full D minor 9 sound, or even D minor add 9. But it has a soft dissonance, which is really nice. I then repeat the sequence. Again, a little bit loose, and then I just walk, same as I did last time, just walk up the scale, and then walk down it. And this time I land on a D note, which is the 5th of the G that the bass is playing. So we're really resolved at that point. It's kind of like a classic ABAC. We've got a call and a response. And then we've got the same call or question and a different response. And all I'm using is major pentatonic and a little bit of timing, just dragging and pulling a little bit so it gives it a bit more feeling. The next time around, I go into the full major scale and I start introducing some syncopation. It's not as strong melodically. I felt like I established a good melody, and then this next time round, it's kind of more like a meandering, wandering melody, really. But yeah, I'm just using major scale and some syncopation, and I'm targeting some chord tones as well. So I hit that on the C. When it goes to D minor, I hit this F, which is the minor third. When it goes to A minor, I hit this E note, which is the fifth of A minor. And when it goes to G, I hit this B, which is the major third. The next idea I'm going to discuss is playing the major scale or minor scale in thirds and sixths. So if you take your C major scale and you play a C, let's say on the G string, you go up a third to E, and then you stack that on top. So here's an E, so I play them together. Now if I move the lower note to D and the higher note to F, that's a third as well. Specifically, we've got a major third first and a minor third. But when you're talking about harmonizing a scale in thirds, you don't have to specify every time. We're just talking 3 steps up the scale. So C and E, D and F, E and G, F and A, so on and so forth. I'd recommend playing around the neck, learning all the ways you can play the major scale in thirds. So I could go, that's much more sort of position based. You know, I'm staying within an area. And then you could also do what I did on the first time, which is moving far more along the X axis. He uses these thirds in, again, Lady and Man. The bit around 55 seconds sounds something like this. So that's all just thirds. Como me quieres, again, around 55 seconds, weirdly. Goes something like this. That little bit there. They're just thirds. And now sixths. So it's the same idea. If I'm in C major, here's my C on the G string. Now if I go up 6 notes from C, C, D, E, F, G, A, that's a sixth. So C, and here's an A on the high E string. It's normally easier to play them with a string skip, i.e., you know, you miss a string out, like from the G string to the high E string. You can, obviously the further you go this way, the easier that is, but you can see it's quite stretchy to do them on neighbor strings. So often they're played with a string skip. So here's C and A, D and B, E and C, F and D, so on and so forth. And I've reached an octave there from where I started. And I'll come down. Really, really beautiful, these. And a really cool thing about sixths, and this applies to thirds as well, the two of them can kind of outline chord tones that are happening underneath, you know? So if I play an E and a C, that could be the major third of C and the root of C. It could also be the fifth of A minor and the minor third of A minor. So if I play a C in the bass and then play that sixth, sounds great. If I play an A in the bass, that's an A minor. The same thing happens here. If I play a G and an E, that could be the fifth of C and the major third of C. So if a band are playing C, I could just play these two notes and we've outlined a C chord. He uses these sixths loads, so I'm not going to play all the examples, but Little Joe and Mary, he uses them. Hold Me Up, leading into the chorus. Connaissez de Fa. and pom-pom as well. There. So let's hear me putting these thirds and sixths into action, and then we'll discuss what I'm doing once we've listened. So that single note melody finished on the B, which is the major third of G, which the bass is playing. I then don't change that note, I just add the D, and I just walk up some thirds, or I do a little slide, and I hit these two, C and E, just as the chord changes to C. I then just play around thirds with a bit of syncopation, and land on this third, D and F, which is the root and minor third of the chord, D minor. I then again just move around some thirds, ultimately landing on this, B and D, just as the bass plays A, which creates this little moment of tension, and then it's resolved when I change to this third, C and E, which is the minor third and perfect fifth of A minor. I then switch over to the sixths, and I land on that, D and B, just as the chord changes to G, so I'm playing the fifth and major third of G. I then walk that down, again, while the chord is still G, I'm now playing B and G, the major third and root note of the G. I then come over here and do something like that before heading into this next section. The next thing I want to discuss is Rootless Voicing 7th chords. I've done a full lesson on this separately, so I'll put the link up there. But he uses these all the time. I'll give you a few examples. Lady and Man, outro. The bass is playing A, and he plays a C. C major triad. Put the two together and you get A minor 7. He's thinking there's no point playing an A. I don't need to. The bass player's already got it. So it's kind of creating a much more refined, cutting sound. August 10, he plays an A major triad when the bass plays an F sharp. So something like there, just as the bass plays F. Really nice. Mr. White, he plays an A minor triad when the bass goes to F, creating an F major 7 sound. So it goes really cool. And May 9th, he plays an E while the bass is playing a C sharp, which creates a C sharp minor 7 sound. That's the bit goes something like there. So I'm going to demo some of these in our little song. We're going to a new section now, so we've got different chords. So the chords are going to be E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, D minor 7 again, C, G. So for those chords where they had a 7, I'm going to use a triad to play a rootless voicing 7th chord. Let's hear it and then we'll discuss. I used those sixths to connect into this new section, and I landed on this G major triad, first inversion on the D, G and B strings, just as the bass plays E. So combined we get an E minor 7 sound. I then do this little melody and then hit a C major triad as the bass plays A, so we get A minor 7. I then repeat that melody just using C major scale and then land on an F major triad, second inversion, over a D, the bass is playing D, so combined we get D minor 7. I then do this cool little back and forth from a C major triad. So that's not really, I'm not really thinking of anything other than that's just like almost like a little melody there. Going from this C major triad to the F triad to bring us back to D minor 7. I then hit that F triad again. So when I hit that F triad, I then just use another little melody, C major pentatonic, to then get to a C. And this time it's just a C major chord. There's no rootless voicing 7th chord or anything. And then I use another little major pentatonic line to get to a G major triad over the G. I then go into that classic Mark Speer rhythm thing. Sounds very May 9th, like the start of May 9th. Again, just connecting those same triads. G over E, C over A, and F over D. I then do really similar stuff. Again, just kind of keeping that rhythm going. So while we're still on D minor 7, I'm doing that little back and forth from F to C, back to F. And then same idea, while keeping that rhythm, I do a little melody to connect D minor 7 to C, and then a little melody line to connect the C to the G. And then I finish with this little almost Hendrixy. So I'm doing a hammer on from 7 to 9 while also having the 8th fret of B fretted. So we get, and I just do a little back and forth there before resolving to this third again. We're back on thirds, and we were back on thirds here. That's a third. And we go back to that original section. So there you go. You should now have a much better idea of what scales he's using and also how he's using them to get some of those sounds. In the next video, we're going to be going much deeper into phrasing, ornamentation to get that really exotic sound from these pretty standard scales. But for now, I hope that was really useful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. The link to my Patreon is below as well. I'll see you next time.